I'm Ryan Iverson, and this is the Investor Breakout Weekly Insight. Let's talk about what happened this week. What if Canada's next big energy trade isn't oil, gas, or renewables, but nuclear? Canada is making a major bet on nuclear energy. The federal government has unveiled a new nuclear energy strategy aimed at helping Canada become what it calls an energy superpower. And the targets are ambitious. The plan aims to support the construction of up to 10 new large-scale nuclear reactors, with 2 under construction by 2035 and as many as 7 in development by 2040. It also calls for a modernized Canadian-designed CANDU reactor by 2030, and a major expansion of Canada's uranium production and nuclear fuel capabilities. Why does this matter? Because Canada is already one of the world's largest uranium producers, and as electricity demand surges from AI, data centers, electrification, and population growth, nuclear is increasingly being viewed as one of the few reliable sources of large-scale baseload power. The government believes the strategy could help double employment in Canada's nuclear industry, from roughly 90,000 jobs today to even more than 180,000 over the next decade. For investors, it is another signal that uranium, nuclear infrastructure, and domestic energy security are moving higher on the national priority list. The question now is whether Canada can move from announcements to actual construction. Because in nuclear, execution is everything. What if the biggest risk to an investment has nothing to do with the asset itself? Here's a reminder that doesn't get talked about enough in mining and energy investing. Jurisdiction risk can change overnight, not because the geology changes, not because management changes, but because voters make a different decision at the ballot box. This week, Colombia elected a new president, marking a significant political shift. Whether you agree with the politics isn't really the point. The point is that changes in government can have a direct impact on permitting, taxation, environmental policy, foreign investment, and how quickly projects move forward. And for investors, that matters. Take Blue Energies, for example. Part of the company's investment thesis is its exposure to a jurisdiction where management believes the current government is supportive of resource development and positioned to remain in place for the next several years. That stability matters because when you're investing in long-life energy and resource projects, the political environment can be just as important as the asset itself. It's easy to focus on drill results, economics, and commodity prices, but sometimes the biggest variable isn't the technical report. It's sitting in a parliament building somewhere, and that's why jurisdiction risk deserves a spot on every investor's checklist. It's one thing to tell investors a growth story. It's another to execute on it. After being selected as the top pick at the CEM Scottsdale Capital event back in April, Carrier Connect Data Solutions is back in the spotlight. The company listed as CCDS on the venture was once again recognized by investors, earning a top 5 spot at the Investor Breakout Exchange during the 2026 CEM Bermuda Capital event. And the reason is pretty simple: execution. Since Scottsdale, Carrier has continued building out its data infrastructure platform through a series of strategic acquisitions. The company expanded to 5 Canadian data centers with its St. John acquisition. It added connectivity assets through the Morewave transaction. And most recently, it signed a definite agreement to acquire Rochester Colo in New York, its first US data center platform. If completed, the deal would expand the portfolio to 6 facilities, increasing company revenue by about 16%. But it's not just about adding more buildings. Carrier is also increasing its exposure to AI infrastructure through a partnership with Radian Arc to deploy GPU edge infrastructure across North America. That's a market attracting a lot of attention right now. The story investors heard in Scottsdale is turning into measurable growth. New facilities, new revenue, new markets. And based on the votes in Bermuda, investors continue to like what they're seeing. Want the full story? Read our original Carrier Connect Data Solutions editorial spotlight from the Scottsdale Capital event at investorbreakout.com. And stay tuned for an updated spotlight coming soon. I'm Ryan Iverson, and we'll see you next week.